Amethyst here. For those who are returning, welcome back to another video on my channel. And for those who are new here, welcome. I know that I've been putting out these notices before the start of the video. I hope this is the last one, but I just wanted to let you guys know that if my voice sounds a little weird or if I just sound dead, um, I am sick.
Oh Lord. Again.
Yes, again. I don't know why this keeps happening to me the moment I want to be really productive after being low energy and out of spoons. I just get hit with a sick ray. I know I should be in bed, sleeping, resting, healing, but I'm stubborn and I want to get this new 3DS video done. Now, I was going to record the second part of the footage that I need because some new stuff came in and there was an update on the new 2DS XL that I got. However, I saw a video um while come up in my recommended while watching YouTube one day and I watched it and oh boy, I have some things to say about what was said in the video. But yeah, so I'm pushing through the sickness to create these two videos, so just putting that out there. Also, an update on the drive situation. I seem to have found the problematic drive that was causing my other drives to act up. So I've isolated those. I haven't yet to fix it. I don't even know if I can fix it, but everything else has been safe. But I think the problem now is my USB port. I think if I have too many drives plugged in, it starts disconnecting the other ones. So I think it's about time I start investing in some 2 terabyte or 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte SSD drives instead of the hard drives that I've been using, and maybe some flash SD cards or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, update on that situation. So still no YTuber, but I'll use my Me PNGs in the meantime. I've been having fun with the Meme Maker lately, so I'll just be use those as a replacement. So yeah, all right. Enough with the notices and everything. I'll just get straight on into the topic of the video. So, like I said before, while I was preparing to make my new 3DS video, I came across a video in my YouTube recommended, and it kind of pissed me and a lot of other people off by the way that this person was coming off in this video. So I thought I'd react to it and kind of point out the flaws that are present in this video. So the video is titled The 3DS Larpedemic, and it was made by a channel called MaineWays. And I watched the video, and yeah, I have some things to say about it. So I'll just get on to playing the clips, the relevant clips, and responding to them, and explaining why these takes are kind of harmful. So yeah, I'll just start off with that.
Exhibit A, my only exhibit actually. 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘀 created a new YouTube channel called 𝗧𝗁's Mind, where he posts his self-improvement process. But one of the videos he posted was filmed on a 3DS, and I think that is some of the most performative stuff that I have ever seen. I don't know about you, but the only time I see people filming on a 3DS is just for social media clout. I've seen like 10 different videos on TikTok of people filming a concert with their 3DS.
So yeah, as you can see from the photos, um, that he listed as a screenshot as proof of that, um, there are seem to be videos, like I see one video of one person taking their 3DS to record a concert, but I see some other ones where other people are filming other people record on their 3DS. Now, in this bottom post right here, like, yeah, it can be a little bit weird, but the 3DS has a camera and a microphone. Like, what else are you going to use it for? Now, obviously, if you're taking pictures on your 3DS and you're taking videos on your 3DS and you are um, keeping those to yourself, then I don't really see what's wrong with that. Or if you found your old 3DS and you've taken some old pictures or videos, or maybe some videos, maybe not from your childhood, but maybe from a couple years ago, and you probably want to upload it to social media just to share some of your good memories on your 3DS. I don't think that's particularly wrong with that. I don't really think it's wrong to record concerts using your 3DS. If that's what you want to use your 3DS for, then use your 3DS for that. I don't really understand what's the big deal about using the functions that are built in on the 3DS to do what you want to do, you know. But, again, like, because this person has mentioned that he sees patterns on social media that indicate that, some people are just fishing for clout and everything, like, take what you see on social media as a grain with salt. If you look at a profile and you've noticed something suspicious within their profile, like, suddenly their type of content changed and other suspicious factors, then you should raise the alarm flag. But if people are just, posting stuff about the 3DS online and there's nothing, and nothing about their account seems harmful or suspicious in any way, I think you should just leave them alone. Now, with the part about Kai's mind, like, I don't know about the dude. Um so I can't exactly give like a really good response to what Kai has been doing, but at least from the evidence that this person has presented in the video so far regarding that topic, I would say that this person is probably trying to farm for clout, because you don't necessarily need to film the video in your 3DS if you don't need to, and there's no reason for you to clarify that. Like, if you posted a video as like an experiment saying, "Oh, I got the 3DS in my childhood. I uncovered my old childhood 3DS or DSi, and I kind of want to experiment with it for a little bit." Like, I don't see a problem with that, but I think in this instance, this person might be, trying to get attention from the 3DS community. But I don't know. I don't know this person enough to make, you know, informative comments about that, but that's just my take on that situation. How, and, just keep in mind of the content you consume online too, because there's always going to be people trying to use, the popularity of something to gather attention. And, that's kind of the unfortunate thing about the internet these days. So you kind of just have to watch out for that. So I think the complaining is valid, but I just wanted to add in, some additional nuances that I feel like some people aren't considering.
So filming one of these self-improvement videos on a 3DS is really not necessary. Even if I gave him the benefit of the doubt that he wasn't trying to be performative, he had to go into the comments just to make clear that it was in fact recorded on a 3DS. He specifically had to mention that it's on a 3DS. So Kai was absolutely just doing this to farm 3DS clout, which is really not necessary as he already is one of the biggest internet figures out there. He also doesn't seem like someone that actually plays on their 3DS. And if he does, I'm 99% sure it would just be basic AAA Mario games like New Super Mario Bros. 2 or Super Mario 3D Land. Now, is that a hater take? Yes, it is. Moving on.
So, what's the issue with getting a Nintendo console and only playing the first party games or the AAA games only on that console and never playing the indie games? I don't really see a problem with that. Now, I have made a whole video complaining about Nintendo as well as EA, because they're just greedy companies in my opinion. And while all of y'all can do whatever you want with your money, I would only encourage you that you think about what what the worth of the product you're buying. Do you really think that it's worth, 60 or 70 or $80 to buy these first party games that aren't even worth that much? I mean, I would encourage y'all to not waste your money on these games, especially considering how lackluster they've been for the past couple years. But if you want to buy these games regardless, that's completely fine. If you only buy your Switch console or 3DS consoles or whatever console, and you never buy indie games and you only buy the triple and you only have AAA games and first party games in your library, that's your library. You do you. I don't really see something to complain about. It's your personal library. Nobody can tell you what the fuck you should do to your own personal game library. I mean, like, honestly, I feel like that was just unwarranted. There are probably people who've only had a 3DS and only had those Mario games or the popular Mario games and this, that, and the third. Like, I had a customer come in from while I was working one time, and he uncovered his old DS and he had Mario Kart on it, and that was the only game he had. And he recently found it and he was like, "Oh, I only have this Mario um game. I want to see if I can search for some new ones." Now, obviously, since it's been so long since the DS came out and now the Switch is out and the new modern consoles are out, they're not going to be making and selling these cartridges anymore. So I kind of came in at the perfect time because he was asking my coworker and I just happened to be in the answer in the area, and I was like, "Oh, they don't make these cartridges anymore." And so I was showing him places where you can go to get secondhand cartridges. And yeah, sometimes even as children, we only have the Mario games and stuff like that. And even as adults, we might not have any interest in getting some new games, and that's fine. I really don't think this is something that people should have the right to complain about. It's their games, it's their console. They it's their money. They can do whatever the fuck they want to do with what they have.
But as soon as you open Pinterest, you get met with the worst 3DS LARPer slop there is. Like, look at this. I just look up 3DS and
Honestly, I find this a really stupid take. Like, so far into the clip, he sees these as 3DS LARPer slop?
I can just tell that they don't play any of the games they have installed, bro.
Like, what do you mean you can just tell that these these people uploading these photos don't play on their 3DS? Now, maybe if you go into their profiles, there might be some other indicators that would suggest that they're only using the 3DS for clout, but you can gain from these pictures that these people love decorating their consoles. You probably see from the type of stickers that they posted what kind of fan of certain characters they might, what characters they might be a fan of. What kind of specific cute things they like. Sometimes a picture can tell 1,000 words, but sometimes a picture alone can't give off information. Aside from the fact that these people have like 3DSs or like a Switch or PSP or PSP or Game Boy, and aside from the fact that we can gather that these people love decorating their consoles, we don't know any other additional information about the people behind these photos. There could be a good chance that these photos may have been taken somewhere else on the internet and reposted to Pinterest without the original author's permission. That's a thing that could happen. I had a few of my pins taken down because whoever uploaded them to Pinterest violated, copyright. So there's a chance that one of these photos, or perhaps some other photo in my 3DS board, that might have been taken somewhere off the internet and they didn't post it, they weren't the original authors, you know. But we don't know about that. We don't know about those. We don't know about, what kind of person they are. We don't know what their other likes are. We don't know what their schedule is, how often they're playing on these 3DSs. How can you just say that you can tell that these people don't don't play on their 3DSs when you don't really know these people? You don't know these people, and sometimes people on the internet just want to keep some of their private lives kind of separate, don't want to show off their lives to the rest of the internet. If you like just sharing cute pictures on your social media, but you want to keep your work life and your personal life separate, you want to keep your game activity private to you, you don't want people knowing that stuff, that's perfectly valid. Some people want to, some people, you can't always get a full grasp of somebody's life on social media alone. Some people just want to hide certain facts about themselves on the internet, and that's perfectly normal. I don't really understand why this has been an issue. You know, suddenly you want to decorate your 3DS and you're get called a 3DS LARPer for some reason. Like, that's just completely bullshit. I think that's completely bullshit.
As soon as I see something like this, 3 versions of Cooking Mama all installed at the same time, that just tells me they might have opened the first game, but they haven't even started up the second or third. And I'm saying this from experience. The second I modded my 3DS, I installed like 30 games on it myself. But then I got stuck on which ones to actually play, so I ended up playing none of them. Until I actually took the time to delete the stuff I didn't play and blah blah blah.
Now, I don't really understand why this person is starting to complain about other people's game libraries. Like, I have a couple copies of sequels on my game on my overall game library in general. Like, I have a couple I have the first game and a sequel of the 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘀𝗁 series. I don't know if there's a third game, but I know I have the first, I have the second, and I have the new one that came out on the Switch. I haven't played the second 3DS version yet because I'm still on the first one, and I haven't completed through the new one that came out on my Switch because I think it's like a live service online game, and being that you have to log in constantly, and the typical your daily quests, your dungeons, this, that, and the third. um ADHD person, I can't be consistent to save my life, so there's your answer there. But really, I have, Slime Rancher and Slime Rancher 2. I have Stardew Valley, and I had Stardew Valley on my phone at one point. I don't think I still have it, but at one point I had two copies of Stardew Valley. I had both Mages of Australia and on my Steam library and on my Switch, and I have the demo for the second game on my Steam library. I don't recommend the demo, by the way. If you want more information of my opinions on that whole situation, I have a different video on that. But I have, Ori and the Will of the List and Ori of the Blind Forest on my Switch, the first and the second game. I have Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on my Switch. I have My Sims and My Sims Kingdom. I don't know which is the first game and which is the second game. I know that the My Sims series, they have like a series of games, but I have both that on my Switch, and I have the Wii versions. I don't recommend the ones on the Switch though. You're better off getting the Wii and playing, or a Wii emulator and playing the Wii versions of the game on that. Um, I can go on and on. I can probably find some more examples, but why is this an issue? Why are you complaining about people having downloaded hundreds and hundreds of games on their 3DSs and complaining, oh, they only played the first game, blah, 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 blah. Now, the whole issue with choice paralysis is a thing, and a lot of people in the 3DS community modding their 3DSs have said that, try not to download a whole bunch of games at once because you'll end up suffering, choice paralysis. And I believe like a comments later in the comment section of this video said that, the whole thing, like, it's actually better that you try hoarding the ROMs because of the fact that Nintendo keeps striking, you know, websites hosting these ROMs left and right, and there's no legal avenue to get these. And I kind of agree. So my idea is that, if you have a list of games that you want to play, or you find a list of games that you think you want to play, try like obtaining them in any way you can. um and making some sort of a system to determine which ones you're going to put or play on your 3DS, and which ones you're going to put in like a backlog of games to play, but don't actually put them on your 3DS, or whip out the cartridges and then create a different list of games you've played already for the 3DS so that you can keep things organized. So that way you don't have a whole bunch of games stored on your 3DS and you end up suffering choice paralysis. That's my idea, but if anybody can come up with a different or a better solution, implement that.
But if you have a game installed and its sequel at the same time, or like both versions of a Pokemon generation, you'd better have a good reason for it. I just noticed I actually have this myself with Lego Batman 2 and 3, but that's only because I was trying to find out which version I played as a kid on my PS3. It's Lego Batman 2, by the way.
Whoa, so if you have multiple copies or multiple, if you have like the first game and its sequel in your library, you better have a good reason as to why you have them downloaded. Nobody has to give anybody a fucking reason to explain why they have certain games on their library. Like, I just thought of another example. I have both Pokemon Sun and Moon. Now, I have my own reasons as to why I obtained these, why both versions. I actually don't like the idea of Pokemon releasing two versions of the same game. I think that whole thing is just completely stupid. But I can give out my reasons as to why I have Pokemon Sun and Moon. Am I gonna? No, because it's nobody's fucking business. Nobody owes anybody an explanation as to why they have multiple copies of the same game or the first game and its sequel on the same console. Like some people, like some reasons, right, be because they played the first game and the second game came out and they downloaded the second game, but they either haven't gotten the chance to play the second game yet because they're busy, or they're actively playing it. There's multiple reasons as to why people have like duplicates in their library. It's their library. It's none of anybody's fucking business as to how many games you have in your library or how many duplicates you have or this, that, and the third. It's not your place to criticize people on that front. I think that's really, really stupid.
I haven't even mentioned people who put stickers on their 3DS. Listen, if you have stickers on the back and bottom side of your 3DS, maybe with a plastic cover over them, you're good. Now, if you have stickers anywhere on the front side of your 3DS, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Who in their right mind willingly does this? Let me tell you something.
Now, I think that's kind of stupid. That's kind of stupid. So, how you decorate your 3DS is a problem, apparently. Like, I don't understand.
When I was a kid, like 9, 12 years old, I had an original 3DS. I used to play so much Smash 4 that the rubber came off the joystick. I swear, my 3DS almost looked like this. Okay, not that bad, but still. That rubber came off with any little flick of the joystick. Pause. But to me, that was just a sign of me using my 3DS to the fullest, you know? Having stickers on the front of your 3DS just gets in the way of that, you know? And you know who's most guilty of this? Those 3DS girly pop aesthetic, matcha drinking, Labubu having. Let me calm down. Bro, there's no way you can play your 3DS this way. It's sitting on the table because they can't hold it normally without the stickers coming off. At that point, just put the 3DS in the case, bro. I'm also noticing that a lot of people have lanyards on their 3DS, and while I don't think it's as bad or performative as having stickers, it feels like something that can be comfortable to hold. I feel like it would just get in the way, like that string always pressing against my finger while I'm playing.
And this is where it gets even more stupid. So, just because you might find it uncomfortable having stickers in the front of your 3DS or having landlords on your 3DS or any other charm on your 3DS doesn't doesn't mean that you should just start criticizing others for sticker bombing their 3DS or putting cute charms on their 3DS. And and it seems, and what's really annoying, because as children, some people put stickers on their 3DS without the cover at all anywhere, and it starts getting nasty, it starts coming off, but they didn't give a fuck because they wanted to customize. It was fun. It was fun, and it personalized the 3DS, and that was what mattered. What matters is that they had fun doing it. They had fun making their console their own. So, of course, when you have all these girls, these women doing it, suddenly it's a problem. Suddenly it's a problem. Are you gonna come after the guys who like sticker bombing their stuff now too? Like, honestly, there are some creators that I follow that put cute stickers on their 3DS. Like, and they play their 3DS. They play their 3DS. They're actively contributing to the community, you know. And just because you might find having stickers in the front uncomfortable doesn't mean that they don't find it uncomfortable. Like they probably are fine with having stickers in the front of their console. And honestly, if you're working with stickers and you're sticker bombing a lot of your stuff, I really recommend that you try and find a way to seal your stickers to make sure that they don't scratch as easily if you don't have good quality stickers. Like I've had this problem for a whilst trying to decorate my consoles, having the stickers peel off, having it scratch off, and it became kind of frustrating. I have found a solution that um and that solution that I got from another creator. I'm blanking on I'm blanking um but, she um pretty much said that, oh, you can just put stickers on like a plastic sheet and then put that plastic sheet underneath the case so that way the stickers are protected. Which I think is a really good idea. Instead of putting the stickers on the case itself. Because that's what I've been doing. The only downside is that you can't use your 3D stickers because obviously the thing is gonna be going underneath the case. But that's a solution. And honestly, I don't put stickers on the front side of my 3DS because of the problem with it coming off, and sometimes I get sweaty hands too and I just get hot for no reason. Like I'm hot now. That's how soft that's how sick I am. I'm like sweating bullets. I should be asleep, but I'm pushing on. And I have stickers on my Switch Joy-Cons, and yes, they would start peeling off. Like they have been peeling off, but they're not uncomfortable. Like, yes, I'm annoyed that they're peeling off, but they're not uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable for me to hold, and I bet it, depending on the stickers that these ladies are using, it's probably not uncomfortable for them either. So just because you might have had like one experience with your 3DS and you've decided that you weren't going to doesn't mean that you should start gatekeeping other people because they start doing things to their 3DS that might make you feel uncomfortable. Like the whole thing with the lanyard, like, I put lanyards on stuff that I hold most often because, as I keep saying in my videos, I got the ADHD and my coordination is shit. So, being able to have a lanyard handy when I need to put it on my arm is really helpful. Like some people may feel uncomfortable having all the beads on their arm. Like if you get like a plain if you get like a plain fabric lanyard and you don't want to have all the beads on it, that's fine too. Like you don't necessarily need to get all the cutesy lanyards. I got the cutesy lanyards because I think they're fun and they don't hurt my hand. So I use them. Yeah, like when I go outside and I don't want to put my 3DS in my bag, but I want to keep it with me, but I don't want to hold them. Like my arms just hurt because they hurt a lot when I try to grip stuff. The lanyard would go on my arm. My arms would be up in kind of like a T-Rex position, and it helps me. I do this a lot with stuff that have lanyards on them, so to make it easier for me to hold. And somebody else in the comments, um, down in the video also said this. And I believe he replied saying, "Oh, it's fine because you need it functionally." Well, like I said before about, the posts on the social media and stuff like that, you don't know if these girls posting their 3DSs on social media have a disability. You won't be able to tell unless they explicitly say it in their profile picture, um, or if they explicitly say it in their profile bio or something like that. You don't know any more about this person simply by just seeing a video of theirs. Like you can't get everything about themselves by just one video. And also saying that, oh, they're holding it, they're have it on the desk because they can't hold it, da 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 da. You don't realize that they're probably using one hand to film and the other hand to just, some people don't have the same camera setups. I've seen other videos online where people have like charms on their 3DS, and but because of their camera setup, they have it so where they don't have to be holding the camera to get the footage. Like there are some people with that, and they're able to like play with their 3DSs even while um like holding it, even while like all the charms and lanyards are on there. So not everybody is the same thing. It's the same way. Just because you might find the lanyards and the charms uncomfortable doesn't mean other people don't. Like I have a custom Kurumi charm that I've made with polymer clay and beads that I bought, and I stuck it onto my Switch. And when I'm holding my Switch, yes, it dangles around while I move them and stuff, while I move and stuff like that, but I don't really find it uncomfortable. But you might find it uncomfortable. Somebody else might find it uncomfortable. It's their fucking console. You don't have the fucking right to dictate how people should decorate their consoles and how people should use their consoles. I just find it just completely ridiculous that this is something to complain about.
Now, to end the video off, I just want to say this. There's nothing wrong with playing the 3DS on your own pace or in your own way. I'm not some sort of 3DS elitist who's toxic to anyone that doesn't follow their rules and only plays the nichest of niche games. Heck, I only play my 3DS when I'm tired of my phone or when I'm searching for new video ideas. So feel free to play the 3DS any way you want. But if you feel called out from this video, I did my job right.
Now, he says in this clip that you to play the 3DS however you want, and he's not some 3DS elitist, blah 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 blah. But considering that a lot of comments in the video are angry at the points that he said, he sounds like a hypocrite. You can't say that, oh, play the DS, your 3DS any way you want. I'm not a 3DS elitist, but then say that if you have all these games in your library, this, that, and the third, you're this, and this. And oh, if you sticker bomb your consoles and you have lanyards, you're this, and this. Like, you can't say that you're not an elitist when you use language that puts people in a box, that starts gatekeeping, that pretty much makes it so that if the way that you play your 3DS is the only right way, and these other people using the 3DS however they wish to is seeking clout for clout and stuff like that. And that may be the case, like I said earlier, that some people are just using the 3DS's popularity to try and gain attention. And that's kind of the thing that happens on the internet. And there have been people in the community that have actually made videos exposing creators or businesses that are taking advantage of the fact that, a lot of people want to have a 3DS and they're using that to like scam people and stuff like that. I'll put a link in the description of the creators and their videos, as well as I've there's also like um other companies trying to scam like other like Y2K like technology too. Like I'll put all the videos screenshots up on the screen and in the description below, so that you guys can have more information. And I'll also put um a screenshot of Cozy Toasty's list of reputable places where you can buy secondhand like 3DS consoles or other secondhand consoles too. So yeah, like it's really unfortunate that there are people that are using the 3DS hype to, to take advantage of people, right? But the whole reason why the 3DS has been getting so popular lately is because of the shitification of modern technology nowadays. These oligarchs, these monopolies, these governments trying to harvest our data, trying to, you know, make the user experience a lot more difficult than it needs to be, making things more difficult than it needs to be. But back in the 2000s, even before then, like technology was simple. They didn't ask for your data. There wasn't so many intrusive ads. Things just made sense. It was quick and simple. Things were reliable. But nowadays, the services and the technology that we're using, it's not reliable at all. And people are just wishing for a simpler time. And that's why they're gravitating back towards these older technologies, because they're not constantly shoving ads in your face. They're not constantly asking for your age. They're not constantly asking for your user data. Their UIs are a lot more simpler and a lot more straight to the point than the UIs of stuff nowadays. So yeah, I do want to point out um that just because you know the you're gravitating towards these simpler technologies, it doesn't necessarily means it's going to solve all your problems. um there was a comments, stating about that I found underneath the video, like talking about this. But when, with any technology or product that you buy, just make sure that number one, you're buying from a reputable source, you're not getting scammed. Make sure you do your investigations of businesses that are online selling secondhand things. Make sure you ask around. Don't be afraid to ask around and get a list. Do your own investigations to make sure that these businesses can be trusted. And when you do get your technology, try and use it responsibly. Anything can become an addiction if you're not careful. And if you're using any of these technologies, try and use it, and try to use it responsibly. Try to, not get addicted to them, you know, because it can be really harmful if the stuff that you're using starts to harm yourself or the other people around you. So please keep that in mind. But yeah, I just think that it's really, really, really stupid that this video was made. Like, I don't I do understand some of the concerns about, people trying to use the 3DS to take advantage of others. And that's something that we as a community need to keep an eye out for and need to expose people for. Like, if there are businesses or people that are trying to use the 3DS to like harm others, we should call them out and report them and everything. But I feel like what with the rest of the video, just the comments about how people are using their 3DS, I think it's really stupid, and I think that we should stop gatekeeping. Everybody's experience with their 3DS is going to be different. Not everybody has enough, doesn't have all the time in the world to play on their 3DS to, as children, we had all the time in the world to play on our consoles and stuff, but now we're all adults and we don't have as much time as we had when we were kids to play on these consoles. And so just because someone doesn't play on their 3DS as frequently as you do doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with them. They probably just don't have enough time to like play on their 3DS as other people. The only other thing that I'm really annoyed with in regards to the whole 3DS situation is just how expensive they are. And because of these, um keep because of individuals trying to that are reselling these 3DSs at a high price when they don't deserve to be priced at that high price, and they're just taking advantage of the fact that the 3DS is popular. Like, the 3DS is such an old console, and I understand that the price is going to increase because it's not in production anymore. It's rare now. It's becoming rare now and stuff like that. Like, I'd understand, but sometimes when I look on eBay or other secondhand sites, I find some of these broken or they haven't tested to see if they worked, and they are priced at a similar price range as some good or used ones. And I'm like, why are you pricing these consoles so high? Especially if they don't work. If they don't work, and especially if you haven't tested it yet. If you haven't tested it, test the damn thing. Make sure that it works. And if you encounter problems with it, like if it's broken in some way, or if it just doesn't work, then price it accordingly. There's no reason to overcharge a broken console. That doesn't make any sense. I'm also worried about, people collecting the console just to collect and not to like play on it. Like, you do you when it comes to your console. But I feel like with these 3DS consoles, they're meant to be played, like they don't deserve to be rotting on the shelf, and considering that a lot of people want these 3DSs, like if you're collecting 3DSs, like you're buying them up on these heckin' the secondhand sites, unless like it's fine if you have like a couple copies to act as backups in case one of them dies. Like I know I have a couple, because I have my old 3DS, my new 3DS, my DS Lite, and soon enough my new 2DS XL. Once I finally fix it, still a work in progress. Like I don't mind, like those I don't have a problem with when you have like multiple consoles. But like if you have like multiple consoles and they're just stacking, and you're definitely not playing it and you're only buying it just so that it looks cool on the shelf, you're not really doing the communities any favors, because not only are you jacking up the prices even further by just hoarding them, but you're also wasting precious technology by doing that. It's an old console, it's aging. One of these days, it's just these things are just not going to work anymore. And by the time there will come a time where there won't be any more 3DSs in the world, which is really why I'm for game preservation of these old games, having emulators up and stuff like that, because Nintendo isn't going to give us another way to like buy these other games, these old games. So I think that is really important that we try to preserve them. But, if people are just buying them up and just, with the intent of like either buying them to resell them at enormous prices, which I think is scummy, or just buying them to hoard and not allowing other people to have access to these consoles. Like I think that's pretty scummy too. I haven't really seen a case where people have been hoarding them just to, hoard them yet. At least not from what I'm seeing online. But there's probably somebody already doing that, and I think that's pretty sad. I don't mind the whole idea with collecting stuff as long as you're doing it responsibly and it's not harming you or anything or anybody else. But, if it becomes a point where it starts harming other people, that's when I start to get annoyed. And it seems like that seems to be what's happening with the 3DS community. All these other people buying up the 3DSs, jacking up the prices only to resell them or at higher prices or to hoard them. And I don't like those type of people. I think that's just really scummy for them to do. But, I know like the whole 3DS situation is kind of like chaotic right now. But, just try your best to find reputable sources online that will sell you these secondhand consoles at an affordable and reasonable price. You know, um, if you do get a 3DS console and it's not modded, I recommend that you mod it yourself. There's the 3ds.hex guide. Follow that. It will give you the most up-to-date information on how to mod your 3DS. Don't watch any videos on YouTube with any YouTube video tutorials online, because most of the time they're gonna be outdated. So just follow wiki. Um, but yeah, that's just all that I wanted to say on this issue. Um, I just really think that people should just let people have fun with the 3DS. Don't get mad at other people just because they don't use the 3DS the same way as you do. As long as they're not, harming anybody else and themselves, like I said before with the whole, like, the, like, all these, 3DS scalpers, I'm going to, um, I'm going to say, I'm going to call them 3DS scalpers because that's what essentially what they're doing. They're just buying up the 3DSs en masse, jacking up the prices, and reselling them for a higher profit. Unless they're truly like buying up the 3DSs to repair and then resell them at a reasonable price, I don't have a problem with that. But but the other ones that aren't buying them up for the sake of repairing them to be in working state, like I have a problem with those. But yeah, the 3DS scalpers, if you're a 3DS scalper or a scalper at all, because I know with the Pokemon scalpers, like they've been a menace. If you're a scalper at any time, of any kind, and you're harming the community, fuck you. But yeah, just let people, play the 3DS the use their 3DS in the way that they want to. It's their console. They paid their money for it. But yeah, that's it for this video. That's all I wanted to say in regards to this video that this person posted. It came off really really ridiculous. The points that he made was really ridiculous, and it's not fair. So yeah, I I hope you have all have a good rest of your day slash night slash afternoon wherever you guys are in the world, and I'll see you all in my next video, which will hopefully be my new 3DS video if I don't get distracted. Anyway, bye everybody.